Ben Mankiewicz back here as a guest of my friend Eddie Muller on the Noir Alley set as we talk about Neo-Noir films, a series we're doing every Friday in July. Night Moves, a lot of these movies that you've brought us as part of the series, and you programmed the series, Eddie, have ambiguous endings. And I mean, I guess in the end, I want this to be ambiguous. In my head, the first couple of times I saw Night Moves, I thought I knew what happened at the end. I have this image of Harry sort of steering the boat back toward shore. But no, man, it's going around in circles. So maybe it's not ambiguous. I guess he dies. He's going to bleed to death.
I don't know who's going to say. Either the Coast Guard is going to save him or he's going to bleed out, one or the other. But the thing about this movie that's really intriguing is Alan Sharp's script. I don't think Arthur Penn, who was notorious for changing stuff in scripts, he didn't change much, but he did add one thing to the script, and that was Harry's thing playing chess, right? And that's why the title, Night Moves, is not meant to be interpreted as N-I-G-H-T, but K-N-I-G-H-T, but knights as in chess, night moves, because in the movie he explains that chess move where the guy never saw it coming. He lived every day the rest of his life thinking about the move that he didn't see, which is, of course, Harry's story, because he doesn't see that it's the people closest to him who are involved in this plot to smuggle. And when I say the plot doesn't really matter, it's kind of interesting that this is a really mundane plot as far as detective stories go. They're just smuggling artifacts out of South America. It's like, who cares? Really? Who
cares? Why are we going to? Who would risk their lives to stop this?
Yeah, the stakes are very, very low, except for Harry.
Also, Melanie Griffith in her first performance.
Yes.
16 when they started shooting. They waited and came back until she was 18 to shoot the brief.
To shoot her brief nude scenes.
To shoot her brief nude scene. Of course, she's going on to have a great career, Oscar nominated for her performance in Working Girl. But then there's one moment. It's a conversation between Edward Binns, Hackman is, Harry Mosby, and again, he's a professional football player.
I know where you're going with this, Ben.
And Binns says, I remember seeing you in the Pro Bowl. Already that's weird. Nobody says I remember seeing someone in the Pro Bowl.
Because nobody watches the Pro Bowl.
No sports fan watches the Pro Bowl, right? But Hackman's like, 63, And then he says this thing that I just can't believe it stands.
Man.
He says, we lost 17-21.
Unbelievable.
The winning team goes first. We're
always.
Americans. We say the winning team first. 21-17, the higher score first. Tough game last night. We lost 1-4. Get out of the room.
You're disqualified. Get out of here.
Yeah.
But on a more serious note, there are a lot of things in this movie that clearly refer to that time in American history. And very interesting that as a bit of duplicity, Paula uses that line, where were you when Kennedy was shot?
Yeah. Hackman says, which one?
Which one? Which is pretty killer. That exchange for people who lived through that is like, wow, that was heavy. But that moment must have resonated for you. Yeah,
and then later, in their second conversation about it, when they double back, and Harry asks Paula about it, and she describes where she was when Bobby was shot. And of course, my father, who was Robert Kennedy's press secretary, was with him when he was shot. He was trailing about 40 feet behind because Ethel Kennedy was like 17 months pregnant at the time, and Rosie Greer and my father went back and helped her down, and so they were behind when the shots rang out. And most people who know who my father was, who had a career in Democratic politics, know him for then announcing Bobby's death 36 hours or so later outside the hospital.
Yeah, so that film does resonate for people who lived through that time. Well, if you can't get enough of the 1970s, stick around, because there's more coming up. Even though our next movie was made in the early 1980s, it is definitely about the 70s. So stick around for Jeff Bridges and John Hurd starring in Cutter's Way.